at The Times and the Sunday Times. Great to have your company, as always, this Saturday. Shall we kick off with the front page of The Express, like many of the papers, reflecting the assisted dying bill and that vote of yes in the House of Commons that we saw yesterday afternoon. And for The Express, it's that one word, victory.
Yes, and this is because The Express has been the paper leading the campaign on this, and so they are celebrating their 3-year campaign coming to what they see as a successful milestone, at least, they say for Kim Leadbeater, for Dame Esther Rantzen, which is, of course, been very close to that campaign as well. And then the inside piece is very, it's touching, I think, for people who are supportive of assisted dying, who are watching the vote outside the House of Parliament and saying yes. But of course, this is deeply controversial. It's not as easy, as simple, straightforward as the Express thinks it is, because it now has to go to the House of Lords, where actually a lot of peers there are vowing, basically, to create a lot of trouble for the bill.
I thought what was interesting, Kevin, it was this free vote, wasn't it? There were no party lines. So in some ways, it was the best of politics on display, people being able to voice their views in the most respectful way on a topic which is so sensitive for so many people on either side.
No, absolutely. People were able to speak from the heart, give their true opinion, is right. The whipping system often works against that. People have to parrot party lines rather than maybe say what they actually think. In that respect, it probably was the best of Parliament, but Cindy's absolutely right. This isn't the end of...
This isn't the end. And the front page of the Daily Mail, now peers vow to fight law on assisted dying because it goes to the House of Lords.
It does go to the House of Lords now. Interestingly, there's a constitutional debate to be had as to whether or not the House of Lords should block the will of the House of Commons. Obviously, the House of Commons is elected, unlike the House of Lords. Those who are opposed to the bill in the House of Lords say, well, actually, it wasn't in anyone's manifesto. So constitutionally, really, we can block it if we want. I think that's probably a minority view amongst Lords. I think a lot of them will certainly look to table amendments, argue against it, or at the very least, for tougher safeguards to be put in place. But I don't see it being blocked by the House of Lords. I think were that to happen, I think you would end up in a constitutional crisis almost, because the House of Commons could rightly say, well, hang on a minute, we're the elected chamber, our view is that it should pass, and then you could get into some sort of loggerheads, really, between the Lords and the Commons, and I don't see that happening, but undoubtedly it'll be a very heated debate. There'll be, again, strongly held views on either side, but I think ultimately it may take a few years. I've read up to 4 years maybe before it actually comes into being, but I think it is going to become law.
Cindy?
I think one thing that some of the peers are saying is that they will just battle it out until the time runs out. Because the curious thing about this bill is that actually it's a private member's bill. It's not being introduced as proper government legislation. So that means if the Lords doesn't return it by May next year, then actually the bill just falls, automatically gets timed out. So again, I think Kevin is right that it will be a constitutional debate about whether or not that's the right thing to do, to essentially filibuster the law, the bill. But actually, some people might say the way that this bill has been introduced, the fact that it's kind of a backdoor private member's bill rather than a government legislation, is already in bad faith. So I think the debate is pretty divisive.
No doubt about it,
There's
What
no
do you
kind
think's changed, though? Because it was 1997, it was brought up, didn't make it. 2015 was brought up, didn't make it. What do you think's changed this time round?
I just think as time goes on, people's view and society's views change. It just almost, these controversial debates, it feels like their time has come. It felt like they were knocking at a door, whereas in the past maybe the view that it shouldn't pass held sway. Now I think it's just obviously there's a lot. There's probably hardly any MPs left who were there in '97 who are now younger, maybe more progressive views amongst the MPs, and just they think, why not? It's society's moved on. It's compassionate, supporters would say, so we should have other countries do it. So the Isle of Man, there's a similar bill going through in the Scottish Parliament. It just feels as though they would see it as progress. But that's not to say that those who are opposed to it are just as have strongly held views, but they're now in the minority.
And
in the House of
interesting
Commons.
to the point that you made about implementation. So 4 years, if it goes through and it passes, it's not until 4 years that we would see the NHS offering some kind of assisted dying service.
Yeah.
Cindy, I think it's in Spain, they passed the law in 2021.
Yeah.
3 months later, it was happening across Spain.
And of course, some of that will be over deciding the right kind of safeguards and clearing the remaining stages and getting royal assent as well. But yes, it's not coming anywhere close down the line yet.
OK. Cindy, Kevin, great to have your company. Do join us after the break. We'll have all of your top stories.
Turkey is burying its